Yeah. I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address. And now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. Just fighting in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
Okay, there we go. Hey guys, obviously we're doing an emergency live, right, Steffa?
Very emergency, very emergent.
Very emergency. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining the live. You guys know I haven't done one in a few days or whatever anyway. Was working on a Delphi video when this came out today. And I want to thank who this had posted it actually in our group chat. And people were commenting on the video, and Steffa was like, Sonny, you need to do an emergency live. And
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I wasn't planning on it, but you know what? YOLO, right, is what it is. So obviously, Steffa, you know what? For anyone that hasn't seen it yet, let me just quickly read it. So Angela had posted this breaking. A new photo just filed in the case of the Delphi homicide suspect, Richard Allen. He's accused of course, we'll say unaliving Liberty German and Abigail Williams. His attorney just filed an emergency order asking to modify the Sheriff's Department's safekeeping order. Allen's attorney state in part that Allen is being held in the Westville Correctional Facility where those convicted of the most heinous crimes are held, not those presumed innocent. Allen's attorney says that they were denied a request to inspect his living conditions, but they believe that they are following as quoted in the motion. He's in apparently a 6x10 cell, no larger than a dog kennel, sleeping pad on a concrete floor, shower 2 times a week, required to wear same clothes, underwear, all which are soiled or tattered, no visit of his wife or family in the past 5 months, subject to conditions akin to a prisoner of war. 1,000 pages of police reports delivered to Allen on March 24th still have not been given to him. Attorney state he's being treated less favorable than a convicted person. Appears to be suffering from psychotic symptoms and described as schizophrenic and delusional. Attorneys are asking he be transferred to a traditional bed space in the Cass County Jail near his office. They are asking for an emergency hearing. And of course, this is the picture of Richard Allen that was put out there. So again, Stefan, just 1 second.
Okay.
Thank you guys for, again, joining this impromptu live. And I know that you guys probably all have your feelings about what you guys think. So let's hear from Steffa. Steffa, what's your thought?
Okay, so I have lots and lots of thoughts, and I'm going to try to slow down because I'm boiling in the inside. Okay.
I know you are.
I am livid. Not that I give 2 craps about Richard Allen because of what he has possibly done to these girls, but because I want a trial. You got to be kidding me that our Department of Corrections is allowing this to happen because this man needs a trial. Do Everybody's going, oh, he deserves this. Da da da. I don't care what he deserves. Can we please get him to trial? When you, if anybody has a little bit of education in psychology, 20, up 24 hours in confinement without seeing people causes a person to start to go insane. You're telling me this man has been secluded for 5 months in what is basically a dog cage, and you expect him not to have psychotic features? Well, of course, he's going to look like he's schizophrenic. So that brings me to my next piece. The reason that I'm so upset is because now we have to worry about restoring his mental health to competency, just like some Lori Daybell stuff. Okay. So now we may not get a trial. Then that's exactly what a defense would want, right? He's going to have, we have to now prove that he can be restored to competency. And when you take somebody out to a mental facility to prove that they are competent to stand trial, it can be months and months, years, or they may never, ever be able to stand trial. But we caused it. It wasn't because he came into the system in psychosis. We caused him to go into psychosis. So I think it is absolutely a disgrace for our judicial system to have allowed this. And I think it's a disgrace for his defense to have allowed it past 1 week. And why is our prosecution allowing it? Do they not want us to go to trial now? I mean, these are the things that are going through my head, because anybody that has one psychology class about secluding somebody. I learned this in like nursing 101, that if you take somebody into seclusion for more than 24 hours, you can cause psychosis. But you're talking about 5 months. So yeah, I this whole thing about, oh, he deserves it. Okay, can we wait till he is after trial and then treat him like crap? Let's just get him sane enough to stand trial and have a trial, or we just may never have a trial, and that is not what I want. So yes, I am boiling. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
No, no, I'm just listening to you because I'm doing this live, because you had asked to do an emergency here, emergency live, so that you could say your piece. So you just
Yes.
keep talking.
Well, I don't want to overstay my welcome here,
You're
but
not
I'm just
overstating your welcome.
okay.
Stop.
I
I don't care about stuff like that.
but I'm just saying that I keep seeing all these comments about it, like, oh yeah, he deserves this, make him this and this and this. Okay, so what you're saying is you don't want the man to go to trial, and I think that is ludicrous. We finally are going to have a trial, but now we may not.
Mhm.
So yeah, what Shelley said. Um,
uh,
where was I just thought? Wait a minute. Was
which
he
one?
allowed to see anyone or nobody come see him? No, Shelley. They're saying nobody hasn't seen his family in 5 months. Are you kidding me? Like, that's not even heard of after you've been convicted. And
You know,
you know what, Sonny? This is
but
crazy. I never believed that happened in our country. And with Chris Watts's parents said that they were not allowed to talk to him before he pleaded guilty. And I was like, that it cannot be true. But apparently it is true in our country. I just
mm,
didn't know that they really did that. Um
because really,
what?
when you're arrested, it really is that you're guilty until you're proven otherwise. I mean, any lawyer in that will tell you that, because when you're in the system, you're obviously considered guilty with the evidence in a sense of what you have. But it's kind of like that false thing of innocent until proven guilty. Not really. It's not really the way it's working, is it? It's like you're, like I said, in prison or jail, but in this case, he's in what, the Westville. That's a prison, they said. Um,
Yes.
okay, so my thing is this: is that correct? To me, of course, in a sense, we always use the term innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And that's when, either he'll be deemed innocent or guilty. But, as a human being, and I agree with what I think Ivy Rose said there. I don't believe in solitary confinement. You are still a human being, even if
Right.
you are the biggest piece of dirt, and have done the most heinous crimes. You're still a human being. And, it just so happened, actually, I was literally watching. I'm sorry, guys, but I've been fixated on this Mr. Beast guy ever since I became aware of him. And I was literally watching one where a couple of episodes where they were acting like they were in confinement. Now, of course, it's not like the real confinement. And that's just it, right? You lose your marbles, like meaning, and who knows if the person is claustrophobic and, you know what I mean, of being trapped in something, but all this anxiety, but it just plays on your brain at the end of the day. And for me, it's like I said, even when you're guilty, you still be you still should be able to be treated humanely regardless. Yeah, you're stripped of certain things, of course, but just as an individual, every individual needs fresh air. They need, certain requirements that the body kind of needs to keep your sanity and to keep your, mental health balance, basically. So I disagree with what they call the whole and different things like that. I just think that, when people do crimes, you know, I'm not going to get into this topic, but it kind of reminds me of somebody when we were talking about somebody spanking a child versus, facing just natural repercussions of doing something. And to me, putting them, in this little box or this little thing is doing nothing for the psychosis or whatever of a person. And again, he's innocent until proven guilty, in a sense, of course, right? Um, and I don't know. I just feel like, regardless if it's Richard Allen or anybody else, that you still deserve to be treated humanely. Like, why doesn't he get to see his family and stuff like that? Meaning, like, the whole purpose, it's like backwards. So you're innocent until proven guilty, but really, like I said, it's really not. And I don't know. I don't agree with um if this is true, what they're saying. I mean, the guy obviously is kind of like Murdaugh, Alex Murdaugh. Alex Murdaugh went in there was chunky wonky, and then spending time in there, he thinned out. Richard Allen looks like he's a cancer victim, is how this picture portrays, in a sense. It's like healthy beef on the body. Now he looks like he's just whittling away.
Oh, he's
Um,
emaciated, like what a cancer patient starts to look like.
yeah,
Um, and but what makes me so mad is that we purposely did that. And I also am asking the defense, why weren't you filing this motion when he was living like this for a week, 2 weeks? Why are you waiting 5 months in so that
yeah,
your client is
yeah,
going 5 months like this? I'm not
yeah,
understanding that. Did you want him to go insane so you can have a
yeah.
insanity plea? Who doesn't want this to go to trial? That's my thing. Is it seems like the prosecution might not want this to go to trial because they knew that he would go insane in those conditions, and so did the defense. So I have
I,
questions.
when lawyers and that do stuff like that, to me that's just them playing their games. Because, right, where was the care months ago, if you felt like this was such a inhumane environment for him? So this to me becomes like a typical lawyers type of game of, doing motions and, saying certain things or doing certain things So, like I said, if it is true, whether it's Richard Allen or not, everyone to me deserves still to be treated like a human being,
Yep.
and so when I hear stuff like that, right, it just reminds me, like I said, all those things like, so why didn't you say someone didn't say something at the beginning of the Delphi, case instead of all of a sudden they come out speaking like all this time later and stuff like that. It's just the same thing. Reminds me of that. Like, didn't say nothing before, but now you are. So why? You know,
Why
and
did you wait? I want to know why. I have lots of questions for a lot
right.
of people.
And it will just come down to a battle of the word wars of what they, you know what I mean? It's just to me always a game of, like I said, filing these things, filing motions. To me, it's just all part of the strategy and games and that. So, like I said, obviously, he's lost a lot of weight. And like I kind of said in the video, when you have freedom, and this is why I don't understand why people commit crimes. When you have your freedom, you can do what you want, go where you want. When you're locked up, you're dictated what you can do. You got a certain amount of time outside. You got, I mean, nowadays they got the luxury of having these, pads and stuff to talk on and stuff like that. Maybe prison life isn't so bad in certain cases, but if it is true, like I said, I'm not a fan of solitary confinement or anything like that. I just don't, because it's like treating someone worse than an animal in a sense, like they are an animal, caged up. Um, just doesn't.
I It's
Go ahead.
wrong. And I like to respond to Perry UK True Crime. Said these scumbags always fall apart under pressure. Perry, any sane person that is in confinement within 24 hours, their brain can start to experience psychosis. And I'm talking about a normal sane brain. But if you take any person, so we're going to take somebody for 5 months that we want to go to trial, unless you just don't want them to go to trial and you just want them to live like a dog. I mean, that's your prerogative. However, I think that we have spent 6 years investigating. Maybe we've done our investigating as much as we could without the information. But I want to hear what all of the evidence is. And you might not want to know, and you just want him to live like a dog. But honey, I need to know all this evidence that we have. I want a trial. I don't want to emaciate the man so that now we have a competency issue so he doesn't go to trial. And that is exactly what they've done, because now we put him into psychosis. And that is what it both sides, prosecution and defense. Nobody stepped in to say, hey, we probably shouldn't be doing that if we want a trial. And that's why I have a problem. I mean, that's not the only reason. I'm saying it's inhumane, period. But
Mm-hmm.
but I'm concerned of why both sides want to not. I mean, they're purposely in a situation where there's not going to be a trial. And I keep seeing all these comments about, oh, he's a piece of crap. Yeah, we know that. But that's not going to get us the answers. I mean, do you want to go back to square one where we know nothing again? Because that's what's going to happen. And no matter what, Richard Allen is still going to be Richard Allen. He may be emaciated and still living on the floor. And
Mm-hmm.
who's allowing? I mean, as a human being guard, I mean, nobody says anything. Because remember, Ron Logan said this was happening to him, and his lawyer had to step in. Remember?
Yeah.
He said he was naked on a concrete floor, and this is exactly what's happening to Richard Allen.
Mm-hmm. Some people think, when you're saying the wife is in denial, wife in denial or involved. What's
We
your
don't even
thought?
know because she can't even see him. How about they have contact? Maybe you'd get more information with the recorded calls. That was my other thing I was going to bring up. if they're not having, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for the people that come to watch this video later and are watching now, just give people a bit of your background about who you are, actually.
I don't even know who I am, really.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just kidding. My name is Stephanie, and I have a little tiny channel that I don't go on very often, or I hadn't been on often. But I am part of this community with Sunny, and I am a nurse, and I have a daughter that I raised. And when she was about 8 years old, she started having mental health issues. And so we started treatment when she was 8 years old. And that's how I ended up in the mental health side of things. I am a medical nurse, but I also obviously have a strong background in mental health because I didn't have really a choice in that. That's kind of what cards we were dealt. My daughter is now 27, and our channel was actually started together to help other families with children that were going through it. So Brittany kind of comes from a child's point of view, and I was coming from a parental point of view. So when it comes to mental health things, it comes to my heart. But I don't believe in giving excuses with people with mental health diagnosis. But I also don't believe in saying that everybody with a mental health diagnosis is this way or that way, because that's not true either, because there is treatment, right? So, but when I know just from my little tiny nursing without any mental health background, if I was never even just went to nursing school and only did medical, we learn, like I would say semester 1, that you'd never, ever, ever want your patient to be secluded. You want to take them out of, like, even if they are on a psych floor and we have to remove them from the group. You don't want to leave them. You want to get them out as soon as possible, because the longer they're in there, the psychosis symptoms can start up to, within 24 hours. So to do this to somebody that we don't want to go insane is ludicrous. But you don't want to do that to anybody, in my opinion, in our country. I mean, that's like I don't know, like what country is that where they cane them? Singapore? Is that where they take canes and they I can't remember. Anyway, so that's my background. I don't know. I'll go off on a tangent because that's all my ADD. Anyway, and I have ADD, by the way. Yeah, so let's mark that one down. I have ADD, but so that's who I am, and now I do case management and help people with resources on the medical side of nursing and the mental health side of nursing. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do.
And did you let everyone know about your alcoholism problem?
Oh yeah, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. You know what? Let's get to a couple questions for you, Steffa. And before I say that, don't forget. So tomorrow, you guys, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and 9 p.m. UK time. Okay. Like I said, crime scene to courtroom will be joining It's a Crime and Shame channel tomorrow, and we'll be going over the whole Delphi case together. So don't miss that if you have time, and if not, then you just have to watch the replay of it. But so I'm really looking forward to that. And I know Adam, I think he's off making a video like I was making a video on Delphi, and then this news broke. So, and again, Steffa call her crazy, but she wanted an emergency meeting or emergency live. And so yes. I of course am doing this because I know Steffa. I could just feel her ears just burning by probably some of the comments and that. But anyway, let's go to someone just said, Steffa, it's a good point. Was this the strategy?
I am beginning to wonder, why would your defense wait 5 months to be like, hey, my defendant over here is living on a cement floor in his soiled underwear and is showering twice a week. And is in a cage, in a area the size of a cage, I mean, that could be a problem. Hello. So that's my first thing, is why is your defense waiting? And why
Right.
in the HE double, I know I have to be careful what I
Hockey
say.
stick. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Um, is your prosecution wanting that? Like,
Mhm.
do you want to cause him to go have psychosis, so that we now have a mental health competency issue, so we may never go, we're gonna, I mean, look at the guy. It's not even like, if you look at him, you know that there's something wrong. That's just on the outside. We now we have to worry about his mental health competency for him to ever go to trial. I mean, this is absolutely ludicrous. Who, what, when, where, and why? I need answers. Hey, do we have any? Is the What's that guy's name? Our prosecutor. Well, I don't want to call him. He's not my prosecutor. He's the
You talking
prosecutor
about
of Carroll County.
you talking about McClelland or whatever his name
Yeah,
is?
McClelland. Where are
Yeah.
you at, McClelland? Are you in chat? Because I have questions.
Yeah.
McClelland.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Sir, are you in chat?
Melissa says, "Hi, I'm late. I missed the living conditions part. He doesn't even look the same." So, Melissa, just to kind of scroll this back down for a second. So, basically, they're trying to say that he's in a 6 by 10 cell, no larger than a dog kennel, sleeping pad on a concrete floor, shower 2 times a week, required to wear same clothes, underwear, all of which are soiled and tattered, knows a visit from his wife or family in the past 5 months, subjected to conditions akin to a prisoner of war, and 1,000 pages of police reports delivered to Allen on March 24th have still not been given to him. Attorneys state he's being treated less favorably than a convicted person. Appears to be suffering from psychotic symptoms described as a schizophrenic and delusional. Attorneys are asking he be transferred to a traditional bed space in the Cass County Jail near his office. That part makes me laugh. I'm sorry. The Cass County Jail right near his office. Um, about that 5 months, They're asking for an emergency hearing. So is this about Richard Allen, or is this about that he wants him closer so he doesn't have to travel? Or, well, they'd probably do Zoom calls or something like that, I would guess. But anyways, so basically this is the pictures that were presented today. And, obviously Richard Allen has lost a lot of weight, which for the most part, unless you're like a Kagan Klein, where people are feeding your books and it doesn't look like he's lost a donut, at all, or having junk food. Richard Allen here, obviously, has lost a substantial amount of weight. What I would, if, I had this one guy that I worked with. Actually, he was my boss above me. But anyways, I remember he was like a little chunky wonky, good looking dude, but really he was like a slime bucket. So that took away from any good looks that he even had. But anyways, and then all of a sudden, this is when we were general managers of the hotel in Saskatchewan there. But anyways, so when he came, Eric came like months later. Like, he looked sickly. He looked just like what I'm looking at here. It was pretty much verbatim, like Richard Allen's old self to the new self. And instantly I thought, like, dude, you got cancer or something?
That's
Because,
what it looks like.
you know, I mean, he looks, obviously little banana boat there needed to lose some weight regardless, but now that's just almost like a sickly thing. But you want him to be healthy. You want him to be sane. You want him to be, full of mind and body, while he makes his way to his trial hearings and stuff like that. And so, again, when you put people in certain conditions, of course, you're going to have, like I said, definitely some anxiety, mental health issues going on because you're not used to being, in a cage in a sense, told what to do. So whether he's purposely, not eating as much, or maybe he's, I don't know, sick to his stomach most of the time because he's in this heaven, God forbid, place that he doesn't want to be in. But, again, if he's found guilty, then obviously he deserves to be in it. But I just don't agree with the fact of people still need to be treated as humans. But I do question the fact of the 5 month thing myself as well. 5 months to like a couple months. Do you know what I mean? Then you should
I
have a
say
pretty
if
good.
they should have been doing something to I'm sorry, if my loved one was in jail for something, like one of my, my daughter, my parent, whatever, I would be screaming from the rooftops, excuse me, hello. I'd be going to the news being like, I know that y'all hate my whoever my loved one was, and you think they've done this crime. They're not letting me see them, and I'd be making a noise. But I mean, I guess it would be really hard if they thought you were the Delphi killer. However, like, that is it. I don't understand how you wouldn't be screaming that, like, hey, I'm the wife and my husband they're saying is the Delphi killer. They're not letting me talk to him. Like, that's a story for the news. That is a story for them. And my question is, why doesn't the law enforcement want to know what Richard Allen is saying to people? Like, you usually get a lot of information from phone calls off criminals on their phone, just like Murdoch. We got information off the phone calls he had with his son, his brother, his attorney, all that during his phone calls that he was making out. Look how much has come out. Why don't they want that information? That's kind of big stuff that they could be having. They could find out who other people are involved, but they don't. I don't know. I don't. That's why I'm saying I have so many questions.
And just quickly, so I mean, if we believe what we're seeing is true, 44% so far said from the poll, it says, "Do you agree with Richard Allen's living conditions?" 44% said no, 21 are saying yes, and 35 don't care. So there's basically the three options on there. Well, we should care though, because we want him to make it to the trial. But I mean, again,
People
is
aren't
it as
thinking it through.
well?
They're thinking the first thought that comes to their head and hitting the button, but no one's thinking it really through. Like, do you know what it really means? What happened, with him being secluded? Is it worth it, him living like a dog right now, to never stand trial? Maybe that should be it. Is it worth him the for our law enforcement? Is it worth them doing this to him for us to never have him go to trial? For him to die like this, or in a mental health hospital? To me, it's not. It's not
It's
worth Libby and Abby's life. I think he needs to be held accountable for his crimes. That's just my opinion.
well, I was going to say, I mean, this is based on the fact if this is actually true.
But isn't it a motion with the courts?
Well, yeah, it's emotion, but doesn't necessarily mean that. Again, like I think it was somebody set up there, looking for sympathy, because like it just boils down to what took it so long for them to determine that his conditions were so unhumane and crappy and blah 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 blah, to 5 months. Like, again, so I mean, it's easy to take the worst picture of somebody as well, and make it, not to say that he hasn't lost weight. Obviously, it has. So it is easy to kind of make someone in this one look kind of pathetic and frail and weak. It just really depends if those are true, or if it's just, like I said, part of the strategy, part of the game to, have him moved closer. But at the so if it is true, everyone deserves to be treated humanely. And obviously, no matter what, if you're just put into a regular cell, that in itself will play on your brain. And if you're kept in conditions where, if this is true, you know, um, and we can go back to Ron Logan as well. Again, right? Sometimes what happens behind those prison walls or whatever, isn't very pretty to what's supposed to happen. And like I said, so Ron Logan, I think, was an example of that one, is that, you just don't go in and do your time. It's almost, you know what I mean? It's almost like some, we've seen real documentaries on this stuff, and, usually they're going to show the good parts of the prison, but it's sometimes it's like, oh, you want a piece of cheese? Why don't you crawl on the floor and get that piece of cheese? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it happens in our country. I mean,
Yeah.
it does. I feel bad that I said that about Chris Watts's family, like that they were lying, that they weren't able to talk to him, and they were saying that he was living under these certain conditions too. And I was like, oh, that doesn't happen here. And now I'm like, shoot,
Mhm.
like I'm gonna eat my words because Ron Logan said it. Now this is being said, and you look at the guy, and the man's been through something. Unless he's going through chemo or something like that, the man, um, I just think it's pathetic. Of course, he's going to look like he has schizophrenia because he's losing his shit just like a normal sane person would. And I don't want the trial to be, maybe I'm being selfish, but I think the man should be able to go to trial on time and not now have to worry about mental health competency. And now we have this because that is exactly what we have done. Us as the society, or not us, but like you and me, but the 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 um the prison has done this, and the warden has allowed it to make this man go into psychosis and not possibly never stand trial. And I think that is evil because I think Abby and Libby deserve their trial. And why our prosecution would not want that? Why? Defense, why did you wait for 5 months? Why?
Right. Well,
Just have a
because
lot of
right,
questions.
because we would have, like, so we know that no matter what, just like there's corruption in Carroll County, just like there's crooked cops, just like there's good cops, just like, stuff happens. We all know that in jail it's not, they're going to make it seem like it's, like this is how we work things, this is how we do. We know that that's not true. I mean, we've seen those hidden camera documentaries and different things like that. And like I said, you listen to Ron Logan. I don't, if what is said is true, then people actually should be mad, because again, if I put myself in the shoes of somebody else, again, you're still a human being, that you don't deserve to be treated like an animal, like you're caged up, even if you did horrific, heinous things. As a person, you still deserve certain rights, that you're entitled to, in the prison system. So again, it's hard. It's not hard to believe that that could be true, but this is a very high profile case. You know, I don't. So I'm questioning myself, like if they're just making it sound a lot worse than what it truly is, or if it's actually true. Because honestly, it really should have been filed a while back if the conditions were so bad. Not, like these are, like, it's, you know what I mean? It's not like we're in a third world country here. These are, lawyers that are at the disposal of, the client and stuff like that. And that's what makes it hard. If,
With this case, nothing would surprise me.
you know, I would just think that because it is a high profile case, you know, that they want to dot their T's, or dot their T's, cross their T's and dot their I's. And, you know, so,
You would
hmm,
think so, Sonny, but you got to talk about, they have a prosecutor that's running the case that has never even done a murder trial. That is a question that has always been in the back of my mind, why you would ever allow a prosecutor that's never ever even done a murder trial do probably the biggest murder trial that Indiana has ever seen, maybe ever seen, but has seen in my day. um that is, to me, like not even, my brain is saying what is wrong with this picture? Like, why isn't your attorney general doing this? Like, we just had I'm in Ohio, and we had 6 family members that were slaughtered here, and we just had the trial, and there's another one coming up, and with the same family, because a family killed a family. And they brought in our Ohio attorney general to assist with the case, and they still had other prosecutors all helping together. You're talking about Nick Leland and good old boy, oh my gosh,
Shane Evans.
yeah, Shane Evans. Okay, and then you're going to talk about they're going to do they're going to prosecute somebody for Libby and Abby. Are you kidding? I'm sorry. Here I go. I'm going off on a tangent, but
You go ahead.
I am. It's so frustrating. Then when you hear this, you're like, why? Why do you not want to prosecute anybody, or like you just don't want to win? Help me understand, please, for the love of God. Somebody send me an email and let me know, like, why. Help me understand. I don't know. Just need an email, give me a call, whatever. Give me the update. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Okay. There I went.
No, Laura Ann says, "Whoa, have Steffa talk about this case one night. That's wild." Well, last time
Laura, I have.
Laura,
I met Ron Logan when I went to Delphi. I have a whole video about that.
Yeah, she did. She also knows how to tell you north and south as well.
That's true.
That's true.
I'm the tree girl. You didn't know I was the tree girl either.
She's the tree hugger on the opposite side of. If you guys could please hit that thumbs up on this live, to help out the channel, of course, for its algorithm, that would be great. And so Peruvian 69. I mean, first of all, just the name 69 is perfect. He losing weight intentionally to make him look less like the BG photo? We see that's why I thought he was gaining weight, to be honest. I was like, I still find this very intriguing that he worked at the CVS. Now, is it correct? Did he work at the CVS in Peru as well? Besides the Delphi one. But so what I find intriguing is that, so here you have this guy on the bridge that nobody seems to know who he is, besides obviously all the speculation for the last 6 years and stuff like that. And then Richard Allen's finally arrested, and it's like, wow, like he legit lives right in Delphi, and he works at the CVS. And I mean, so nobody at all even recognized his so-called walk, his gait or whatever, or his walk.
He said he was there. Nobody got that. He told him he was there.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go over all that stuff tomorrow again on the crime scene to courtroom one. But yeah, so Steffa had, like I said, met Ron Logan on an adventure one day. And do you want to quickly tell people just, I don't want it to be too long because I'm going to wrap this up within 17 minutes here. But just for anyone that doesn't know, just give them a quick rundown on your adventure with Ron Logan.
Okay, sure will. My daughter and I decided to go to bond for Mother's Day, and we like true crime, didn't know much about Delphi. So Randy Gravitt had a memorial walk. This was May of 2021, and it was the weekend of Mother's Day, and we went, and we were late to the memorial walk, so we were behind everybody about 30 minutes. And we parked the car. Well, we were sitting in the car, and this man comes up to us on his little, what do you call those things? ATV, and says, "Do you know why there's all these cars here?" And I said, "Oh, there's a memorial walk for Libby and Abby. I don't know Randy Gravitt. I don't know that these things happen very often. Don't know who the man is." We get out of the car and start talking to the man, and he says, "Oh, okay. Well, they better not go on to the property." And I said, well, first of all, I'm so dumb. I don't know about the case. And I tell him, well, you can't go on the property unless you go through the water, and nobody's going to go through the water. I didn't know you could go around the water. And he said, oh, yes, you can. I said, oh, well, I don't know. But all I know is that we're not going on the property. And he goes, well, you better not, because that's my property. And I was like, oh, well, I remember hearing that the man that the girls were found on was at one time a suspect. Didn't know his name. Um, but my wheels started turning that I do know the guy was no longer a suspect, right? Because they didn't, uh, arrest him. So my wheels started turning, and I wanted to see about if I could jump on the back of that ATV. And my daughter saw it on my face, and she's looking at me like, don't you dare, Mom. Do not say anything to Ron Logan. She doesn't know who he is, but she's like, don't you dare, Mom. And so we just continued to talk. We did not go down on the ATV. And our encounter was over. And then when we met up with the group, with Randy Gravitt, I didn't know who Randy Gravitt was, never looked at him before, because I learned about the walk from a Facebook group. And when I got to the group, I said, excuse me, I'm looking for Randy Gravitt. And then Randy said, oh, that's me. And then Anthony Greeno was there. And he is the one who told me about Delphi and how this all went down, which a lot of it wasn't true, because that's when I was told about that the bridge guy had gone across the bridge and had met the dog walking lady at 12:30, and on the other side of the bridge. And at 12:30 they had locked eyes and said hello, and then bridge guy had come back across the bridge. So my very first live I ever did about Delphi, I told everybody in my my live that was that happened. And they were all new to Delphi because they were Chris Watts people I was bringing over to the Delphi case. And total wrong information. Never happened. So, yeah, that was my Delphi experience when I learned about Delphi, met Ron Logan, and that was my story in a nutshell.
And you're
Giving wrong
through it.
information on my own channel.
Ivy Rose says, is this the first walk? Was this the first one? It would have been, right? Was it?
That was the very first walk. This was not the walk that I actually. So the next walk, Ron Logan was no longer with us. He was only there in spirit. So I decided to take a walk on Ron Logan's property. And I knew a heck of a lot more about Delphi. And I went down to the crime scene. And that was another experience. But yeah. So I came a long way. That was in 2022. Wait a minute. Yeah, 2022, March of 2022. So there was a big difference from May of 21 to March of 2022. And I am the Steffa from True Crime and Wine Wednesdays. Yes, that's me. And Laura Ann, I got you about that one case. Actually, Aspen and I were going to do that case because Aspen watched that trial with me for that family of 6. So we've talked about that. Oh, CD just showed up.
CD, look at your messenger, for Pete's sakes. Hey, y'all. Let's see. Our A is not looking so hot. Years of extra freedom catching up to him in the big house. He left. His left arm is handcuffed wrong. Yeah, I was going to say CD would. I mean, it looks very. Let me just hold on a second. I think I shouldn't have closed that off, but. Let me put, I think I have another picture here.
CD, you missed the rants. I was going on rants about what has the living conditions that RA's in. I'm very upset.
Okay. So, well, is it not CD that he's just turning it up? Like, oh, I hear my husband's home now. Is it not just that he's like turning it up like this, but really it would fall down the same way? But I mean, you would know. Miss City would know. Hey, Sunny, just doing an afternoon live, eh? Yeah, Stefan wanted me to do an emergency live with the new photos that were released and the supposed living conditions of Richard Allen that's in Westville, and they want him to be brought over to the Cass County Jail. So yeah, so there's a motion for that. I don't believe I have the actual paperwork yet. I did request it, but yeah, no, I haven't gotten it yet. I'll probably get it probably tomorrow morning if somebody doesn't have it by then, because I'm just waiting for Brandy to email me back. Just getting off work, wondering about the tornado watches again. Yeah, I am. Who's ever in the tornado path, please stay safe. You guys, like I said, there's been a lot of tornadoes, it seems like, going on over there. I could probably find a clip, stuff. I remember watching that live as Randy recorded. I'd love to hear CD's pinging on. Well, CD, tomorrow with John, are you going to be joining us? It will be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I left you and Alexa messages, but I mean, you guys went MIA on me. Nobody's answered me back yet. So I'm not sure if CD, because if CD is, then we'll be doing Delphi tomorrow anyway with John from crime scene to courtroom. And what did CD say there? No, he should be handcuffed down like his other arm. He might have twisted it himself. Well, that's what it looks like. It looks like he's like, when I'm looking at it, like when you look at it stuff for yourself, it's like he's twisted his arm up, but yet if he plopped it back down, it would be in the same position. So that's what it looks like to me. Here, do you guys want a close up?
And I can't see it because we are having storms here and I have no internet. So I'm doing this from my phone. I can't see it. Normally I watch it on my TV.
There's a little bit closer up. Are the kids are on spring break?
Oh, now
well, City, at the end of the day, it's at 4 p.m. your time. So if you can't pop on, I'll send you the link. And if you can't, you can't. Simple as that. It's always great having CD on. It's always a nice discussion, and Alexa and CD and with John from Crime Scene Courtroom and Adam and myself, especially discussing Delphi in itself. Welcome back, Grandma Watches. Delphi in itself, with regards to just in general. One second, Steffa, talk for a second. My husband's
okay.
Here.
I can't. Okay, all in the chat. Are you all like me that you cannot get enough Delphi? Like I will go in and look for stuff from like 2 years ago with that people like I'm gonna find the magic answer to what has happened. I always am looking for clues on other people's channel that I've never heard of, that maybe I'm going to put something together that is going to not necessarily solve this case, but in my little stuff of mine, I think it is. But it's like, I can't get enough. There's something about this case that draws me in. I think about it in the morning. I think about it first thing in the morning, all through the day, and before I go to bed. Hey, CD. Okay. Yeah, you need to hear my rant, CD, because I'm about to go on another rant if I don't watch out. Yes, I am Steffa, can you bring this to True Crime Wednesday on Unmasked? It's Wednesday. I have been on I did a impromptu about my encounter with Ron Logan, and but I have never brought it up to Vanessa about that case. So, but I can mention it to her. So anyway, so I have this fast. Are y'all like that though? Where you're like, oh, I gotta find something. Like if I wake up in the middle of the night, I will go and look for videos. Like I'm hungry for Delphi. Like that's why I think I'm so livid about them, the living conditions, because I do not want anything to mess up this trial. The worst thing that could happen is for us not to have a trial. And that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Delphi is a train wreck. Every time I take a break, I get sucked right back in. I can't even take a break. If I take a break, it's like for a day. And then I'm back. Like you could do
Yeah.
a Delphi live every night, Sunny, and I would be there. I cannot not get away from
Oh,
Delphi since I went that one time. There's something about the case.
Steffa, I'm so sorry. But there's another emergency that I have to attend to.
Okay.
No. Stay right there. So you guys, because I don't pay attention to my notifications. So if I got one, I'm sorry. But today is CD's birthday. And
What?
so, I mean, he didn't message me just now to say it. Of course, my memory was like, oh, isn't it somebody's birthday today? And I'm pretty sure it's CD's. Or he messaged me to tell me that I forgot that it's his birthday. So, happy birthday to CD, Analysis of a Crime with CD. And it's his birthday today. And of course, we can't have them staying the same age as us, stuff at 29. So, CD just turned 30 today, you guys. So happy 30th birthday, CD.
Happy birthday, CD.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you guys spam some cake in the chat for CD, okay? On your emotes there. Spam some CD some birthday cake for CD. Love you, buddy. Again, I love CD. He's a great human being. I love transparent. I love people that are just there to say it like it is. And he's just a really good friend. And I really love that guy. The big 44 CD. I had
CD, are
to.
you allowed to drink now? Are you 21 yet?
Yeah, of course he's. Yeah, I know. Show me your ID. Don't force me
Yeah,
to
we
show
want
the.
ID, CD. If you could get your ID out, we need verification.
Yeah. Hey, there's Deb saying happy birthday. Gold Truth is saying happy birthday. Grandma Watches is saying happy birthday. Jill Moser is saying happy birthday. Outback, happy birthday. JD, happy birthday. I got to get 44 in. So just pulling in who's on the panel. This is support with Steffa, Miss Purse. And again, the support with Steffa is in the nursing field and has dealt with a lot of mental health issues and with regards to that. She knows
You
her
make it
stuff.
sound like I'm a psych person. You're like that.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
Stephanie deals with a
when
lot of mental health issues.
when she's not drinking and giving advice to herself, when she's not losing track of coordinates and like a compass,
And
or being
trees.
yeah, trees, yeah. She's our tree expert as well. Um, so too much mom is saying happy birthday. Mark is saying happy birthday. Rose says
Happy
happy birthday.
birthday.
Sharon Parker says happy birthday. Tell me when we're at 44. Chaotic Beauties in the house. Happy birthday, Miss Purse. Did I say Sharon Parker? Yeah. I'm sure Ivy Rose probably said it somewhere along the line too. And if she didn't, then I'll say it for her. Oh, there she is, right down at the
Now I
bottom.
want birthday cake.
Yeah. CD. So, are you guys doing anything special at all for your birthday? In honor of your birthday, I will eat this French fry and pretend like it's cake.
I
Husband just brought
love
it. It's
birthday
McDonald's
cake.
French fry. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, with diabetes, cake doesn't go over too well. Although I do like it. But Sharon Parker, yeah. So happy birthday, CD. Love you, buddy. Again, one of my favorite dudes, definitely. Um, or should I say you are my favorite dude? I try not to flirt with him too much anymore. I'm trying to hold back. I'm trying to make him like, when you kind of like
You
gotta
gotta
pull
let him
back.
miss you a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. And the thing is that I felt like I let him miss me for like 5 days, and he still didn't like go, oh, did Sunny message me on Messenger? And I just I'm pretending like I'm not seeing it. Is this what happening? Yeah. Or he just
Hard to
literally,
get.
yeah, playing hard to get. Yeah. um, let's see. And almost taken CRV rides from Ron Logan. Laura Ann says, happy birthday. Anyways, yeah. I suppose you feel like you're loved now, don't you? Okay, it's your birthday. You can feel loved. Anyway, I feel like we didn't get to 44 yet, Right, close. Oh, is angel food cake okay? Is it? Because I love angel food cake.
No, because it
Yeah.
doesn't have icing. I need lots of icing, and then I need the cake. I need to dip it in the cake and the icing into vanilla ice cream to cut back the sweetness of the cake and
Mhm.
icing. It's like a
Okay.
diabetic coma. It's fantastic.
Mhm. What's on our A shirt? Um, Absolutely. Dinner this weekend, CD says midweek. It's kind of tough, but we will definitely sing later. Yeah, I'm gonna sing so low that you're not even gonna hear me. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Yeah, you don't. I'm not going to be on that live.
birthday. Yeah, well, because if I start singing, then the dogs are gonna come out from all the different houses around here and stuff. It's just, yeah, it's not pretty sometimes. Yeah, my vocal cords can hit a certain range, but that's why I always do the Marilyn Monroe happy birthday, because then I can kind of play with it a little bit more than just trying to sing happy birthday. Right. Who wants to do a regular happy birthday song anyway? Now hold on. Somebody said something here. Oh, the shirt. Okay, let's zoom in on the shirt. So it looks like a big stain, doesn't it? It doesn't it? It looks like a big stain, but it looks like it's a picture of somebody's. It looks like
Let's see.
hair. Like, do you think he was drawing on his shirt or something like that? Because if so, it's like the body faded away and it was left with some really funky hairdo,
Or
like
a
a poodle.
poodle.
Yeah, see? That's what we're talking about. I want to be in a coma. Sounds fun. Forever young. Thank you, JD, by the way. So, CD, I'm loved too, apparently. There you go. And Stephanie, you're loved as well.
No, I love
Um,
you. I think you're fantastic.
Thank you. Go on. And you know what? And I honestly, I think I'm enjoying this rather than, you know, I don't miss Adam right now. Do you?
Oh, Adam. Where is Adam? He could at least came in and said, "Hey, what's up?"
I know, I
But
know,
no,
no.
nothing.
He's pretending like he didn't see this live pop up in his thing, and he's working on a video instead, which I was doing as well. I was working on a video as well, but I was like, Staffer says we need to do an emergency live. And I'm going to do this because I can tell that Staffer really has something to say. Um,
It was an
so
emergency.
of course
It,
I know, because I could feel like I said, like the steam coming out of your ears there, because if it's true, like I said about the conditions, again, people are, you know, innocent until proven guilty. And that's just the thing, is that even if they have all this evidence, blah, 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 bottom line is he is innocent until proven guilty. And even if he was, is deemed as guilty as time goes on, everyone still deserves their basic human, requirements. And that's why I don't feel like it's like putting somebody in solitary confinement, or treating them worse than animals in a sense. To me, that's just wrong on every single level. It doesn't suit the crime to me. Suiting the crime to me is more like, okay, you need to do things to earn rights, to have things, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have to like prove yourself while you're in there to be able to have certain rights and not just handed to you. But taking away somebody's like brain cells in a sense, you know what I mean? It just, that to me isn't suiting the crime.
it's
Not to
not.
say that there's anything to suit a crime when somebody commits, you know, obviously we'll call it red rum, I guess. Maybe we'll call it red rum. It's just, it's like I said, they're locked up. They got certain things that they can do and can't do and whatever, whatever, whatever. But again, I think of how I would want to be treated in a sense if I did a horrific crime, and still, right? Like if
You,
it's true that it's like his bed's on the floor and stuff, like I said, a bed is not, you know, uncalled for to have an actual bed, not some, piece of crappy little foam on the ground or something like that. Um, yeah. And the thing is that, like I said, when someone's innocent in a sense, again, if they're determined as guilty, whatever, reap what you sow, but you still deserve your human rights. I don't
I,
know. I just,
You do not remove somebody's sanity. That is not part of our judicial system. And if the Department of Corrections has caused that, because they know that that if you keep somebody in those conditions, it is going to remove their sanity, and they f this case up because of that, Steph is coming to Indiana. I don't know. I mean, that's all I can say. Steph is coming to Indiana. CD, I'm gonna need some protection though, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna need you to come to Indiana too. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm mad.
well, the information had come from obviously a motion that was filed by Richard Allen's lawyers. You know, basically, so obviously, with obviously talking to Richard Allen, he would have basically had told him, I'm sure, that, like basically his bed's on the ground, and about the showering 2 times a week. Again, perhaps it's an exaggeration, perhaps it's not. Again, I just feel very strongly that still, until someone is actually convicted, you know, um, just basic human rights, just basic decent human rights. And to me, again, isolating and messing with people's brain cells up there, I don't know, it just doesn't fit. You want someone to be capable of withstanding trial. You want someone that is competent, and not all of a sudden plead insanity, because he probably went insane in the membrane in there. But you know what I mean?
Yep.
Of course that stuff's going to play on. I just want when somebody's convicted, like I said, let the crime, let the consequences suit the crime, in a sense, on what they have to do, how they get things. Maybe they can't have anything until they've earned it after a year to have a pad or something like that. Who knows? But just for your own, like I said, to be put in a box in a little space is going to play on anybody's brain. Doesn't matter. Even if any of you guys weren't in jail, I mean, I'm claustrophobic. I'm not. Well, I would say if someone put me in a really small area, it's not too long that all of a sudden I need to get off. Like when I'm on a plane and you're flying to England and it's like a 10-hour flight, usually after a couple hours, I'm just like, okay, let me get off this plane. I'm sick and tired of being around people on the plane. I'm starting to feel claustrophobic. And I literally have to calm myself down because I can feel anxiety kicking in, because it's like being controlled. I can't just step out of the plane. I'll be splatter on the ground. So you have to sit there and go, okay, 8 more hours to go, and that's just simple anxiety. And I don't want to call it simple anxiety, but that's just like simple anxiety, let alone, like I said, getting treated worse than an animal. I just don't believe in, and again, playing with people's brains like that, because that's exactly what it's doing. Regardless, it's going to play on them regardless, even in the best of conditions, in a cell and stuff like that. But you don't need to add to somebody's, issues, because that's all they're doing is just they're the ones creating, like I said, anyone knows, right, that if this happened to you, where would your brain cells be? You'd probably start hallucinating and whatever I don't know.
Yeah, that's what a normal brain is going to do. He is having a natural reaction to confinement. And the problem with this is now we have a mental health competency issue. And but it's our own fault because we did this to him. And that's what's pissing me the F off, because we did it. And now this man, there is a chance that he may never stand trial because of what we did to him. He did not go in this way. And you can be in solitary confinement without being in conditions that cause you to go insane.
Yeah.
But not like this.
I was going to say, kind of like what CD says too. Like, I mean, when you think about it too, they're worried about people that are going to obviously try to take their own lives as well. So if he doesn't have a proper bed, I guess it would be for that reason that they do want him to be alive when it comes to trial. So he's going to get probably the bare minimum. So again, it's not really innocent until proven guilty, because really, um, just in case, they don't want him to take his own life. So I don't know. You know, we're gonna wrap this live up in a second here, but um, at the end of the day, everyone, like I said, deserves to have humane rights to them. So if it is true, why did the defense wait for 5 months before they
Yep.
brought this motion? That does really make you ponder what the actual strategy, truly is. I, I mean, it could be true, and it could be overly exaggerated for the sake of, again, the games that they need to do in order to, get what they kind of want out of it too, which is move to a closer spot, um, to a different, like I said, facility. Um, and they have to play up, how he's being treated, but they would have to have proof of this as well, I would think,
Yeah, you can't just
wouldn't
go into
they?
court and be like, "Oh, this is what we say is happening, so it's happening." You got to have some proof, you know? That's
Yeah.
the thing. And Deb, I'm worried about
Well,
that too.
absolutely. You want him to be competent enough to stand trial. So, we want him to be okay. I just, in my head, I have to feel like, again, that this, to me, putting somebody and caging them up is not doing anything for any brain cells whatsoever. You're just adding more to somebody's mental health issues, and to me, that's not right. Because that's exactly, we all know that certain things are going to play on people's brains. It's just right, natural. You put anyone alone in a room for 24 hours by themselves,
Yep.
your head's
And
going to start thinking and playing with you, and become delusional, whatever. Again, panic attacks, whatever. But Richard Allen to be we want him to be able to stand trial and not have, I don't know. Go ahead, actually, Stefa.
oh,
We'll give you the last words here. Yeah, French fries are cold now. Yeah, burger is too. Oh, let's yeah.
did I lose you?
Time to wrap it up.
Wait, I
um,
lost you. Are you
did
there?
you lose me? Did you
Oh,
find
now I
me?
can hear you. Okay. My last
Yeah,
thought is, I know everybody's saying, "Oh, well, he, did the crime, so he just is, this is what happens when you go to jail." No, it's not. I mean, what I'm saying is that he is at a point where he is in psychosis, and that is where the issue lies. Because do we continue to allow him to live in that condition and stay in psychosis, and therefore, well, he's probably, obviously he's going to have a psych eval, um, and he may end up going to wherever they could do for their state prison or mental health. I don't know where if they have like a state hospital or not. But hopefully he will come back. That's my concern is, what are we talking? We're going to delay the trial 6 months, a year, like some Lori Vallow stuff? Or are we just
yeah,
going to, or did we screw him up so bad that he's not coming back? There's no trial and we're done. That's my concern. And I'm just coming from a point of, I know from nursing 101, and I bet if Deb has a conversation with her husband tonight, we learn right away that you can't, after 24 hours somebody starts to have, can go into psychosis, and we always pull them out of seclusion as quickly as possible. But to purposely put them in the situation that he is
right.
in, that's different. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
And I'm sticking to it, girl. I'm sticking to it.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, to purposely put someone in a situation where it's gonna add to their mental health and stuff like that. No, I think Deb should go take a drive. Go bring him a Whopper or something, eh?
Yes,
Maybe.
he needs a Whopper, Deb. He
Yep,
needs a
yep.
Whopper.
Too much, Mom had said. Well, his beard looks pretty groomed. If he's in such bad condition, basically, on there, which is true. I mean, his hair and everything's neat and tidy over there.
And
You know,
Shelly said his hands look groomed. They do. I noticed that too. As I looked at his hands, I always look at a man's hands. And they do look like his
They
hand,
do look
he
pretty
had like a
clean.
manicure.
They do look pretty clean. You know, it's times like this. Like I said, I was just doing a Delphi video. Um, and I'll probably release it. I don't know, maybe tomorrow or tonight. I don't know. Probably tomorrow though, because time's getting away from me now. But you know, his when I think about his wife and I'm sure she's sticking by him. Probably believes in his innocence, and you know, I don't know. I just this case is very, very intriguing to me, just from all aspects of it, from the Kagan Klein side to Richard Allen here, um, and just a story of Delphi. It's me and John were talking today about this, and it's not like, say, the Coburg case, the Idaho Four, you know, that 4 children were unalived, and it's going to come down to that he probably liked one of the girls, and kind of what I call how typically um, those type of things happen, right? Like nothing really going to be fancy about the Kohlberger case. It's just a matter of finding out probably, who was it that he liked, and you know the reasons, of course, for doing it. Whereas Delphi is like twists and turns
Yep.
and secrets, and it's just really encompasses like everything that any sort of movie would love to have for a movie. It is just got so many different levels and twists and branches, and uh, it's just a very, I say, intriguing case, because whenever you don't have like answers, of course, it's always intriguing because you kind of want to know what happened, like what
And
happened
why?
to the boy that day and why. But then when that element of Kagan Klein came into the picture as well, and it was just, again, it's like a never ending, this all these branches to the story, and hopefully at some point we'll hopefully get some answers to it.
And wasn't it that when we found out, remember we found out, I think on a Friday, that there had been an arrest, or maybe it was a Saturday, but we had to wait till Monday to find out the guy's name. In that whole
Yeah,
weekend, how awful it was, like wanting to know. We're like, who was it? Who was it? And then when
yeah,
we get the name, we're like, who? Like,
yeah.
never heard of this guy. What
Yeah.
a wrench it threw in for everybody. And it took about a week for people to be like, are you sure this is right? You know what I mean? Like, it was, and to this day, it's still like, how does he flow into everything else? I mean,
It And it's not even just that, but it's like all the mishaps that have happened with this case. Like, how do you forget that this guy was okay? Like, how do you forget that this guy was said that he was on the bridge, that day that he was,
yes,
like, how does anyone that had anything to do with this case forget about this guy? Like, what went so wrong that he wasn't the main suspect back in 2017. I
right.
mean, really. And so, you know, and then on top of that, I think of, like I said, the people that he's working with. And even if you couldn't, kind of like what Doug Carter said, even if you like took his head off, somebody should still be able to tell from his body build, the way he's walking, like, and you know how people are, regardless, they're willing to throw anybody underneath the bus if it looks like them even remotely. But the thing is that what just still I'm in awe of is how how did he say he was there in 2017, and then it's 6 years later, and it's
Oh,
like what happened that went so wrong, along with everything else. Delphi is like, it's like, in my head I have it like this: Libby left a video for evidence of who it was that was, like coming upon
Yes.
them. And it's like always, for me, it's always been about Libby left this evidence, and it's up to, the police and whatever sleuths, whatever, to try to help figure this out, right? Get answers, because Libby left that video and not to die in vain of, not finding answers for their deaths. And then, so that's always the most important part to me. And then, like I said, everything is just gone so wrong with this case. It's almost like every time I turn around, it's almost like a roadblock, something else. Like something else happened, calling off the dogs, like I said, we come to find out about Richard Allen. And it just seems it's like it's almost like I feel like everything is going against this case. And that's what really saddens me. And I hope that it's not true. But everything always feels like everything's going against this case instead of for this case. And I just want really the truth to come out. And I'm really always afraid that it's not going to, and that even if Richard Allen is convicted, I like what kind of damage is done after 6 years of, looking at wrong people, calling off dogs, not overlooking Richard Allen, and nobody recognized him whatsoever in 6 years.
I have to, okay, I know you want to get off, but I have to tell this to the chat. Okay, y'all,
Okay.
listen up. When I went, the time I met Ron Logan, right? We went, why isn't my picture up?
What picture?
Like my avatar, like my real, like.
I see it.
Mine just shows a circle.
Blank?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so when I went to, and I met Ron Logan, me and Ron, my buddy Ron, when we went on, I told you I was behind everybody like 30 minutes. Well, so when I got up there, I started talking to this brother and sister. But when I say brother and sister, they were like 60. I would say she was 60, he was like 65, something like that. And they were so into this case. And who dis? I wish I could send you a picture of this guy because he's from Delphi. And I want to know if you know him. But anyway, so this guy was talking about what it was like when these murders happened. And he said he knew who it was. And he had a lot of things to say about how that he was told to hide stuff because that the police people, the police knew stuff, but they were not, that there was dirty stuff going on with police and other officials. I mean, this guy but he was so believable. Okay. But one thing he said, and I believe it because it was confirmed by other people, as in who dis, I know you're still in here, I believe. He said that anybody like over the age of 18 that was a male, they went around and took DNA from in that area. So I want to know if that is true, how Richard Allen, because obviously there was um something about why they wanted DNA from everybody. And who dis, if you're in here, can you verify that was happening? Because I believe Randy was telling me that, everybody that was there. And Laura Ann just said, Steffa, someone else on the walk told me about those two as well. Like they said they were brother and sister and almost being romantic. It was weird, Laura Ann, because they were brother and sister and they were older. I didn't see them like holding hands or anything like that, but it was weird that they were hanging out all the time. Like I love my brothers and I hang out with them, like here and there, but but not um like I think they live together or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, the point being is that this guy swears he knew who it was, and I didn't. He didn't tell me who it was. So Lori and I can't answer that. But he said that the guy, whoever came home that day, came home and had blood on his clothes, and that whatever evidence that he had, this law enforcement official told him to hide it, and he hid it because other law enforcement officials were destroying evidence. So that's all I know. But can you all hear me?
Yeah.
I want to make
Yeah.
sure.
Just
I wish
listening to
Who
you.
Dis was in here so she could
She is in
verify.
here. She's in here.
I wanted to see if she could verify this about, or Randy, one of them, because on the walk they said anybody like over the age of like 18 that was a male, they were getting the DNA from. And now that we're sitting here talking about it, I'm wondering if they ever got Richard Allen's DNA. And now I'm just kind of putting parts together from what that guy said. And now I'm really surprised that somebody else knew about this couple. They're not a couple, but their brother and sister.
I mean, I think some of us, or at least a lot of us, have probably heard about it because I remember seeing their pictures, and I'm not sure if I seen their picture because of
I
you
sent
showing
it to you. Yeah, I sent you the picture because
but I thought, Steph, if I'm not mistaken, though, I thought that it was somebody else that they implicated, and it wasn't actually like Richard Allen. That's the last time I remember. So sorry for a call, but yeah, someone said that about DNA, but they didn't get every single person's.
Gotcha.
That's all she said so far. But he did have an alcohol problem. DT's possibly alcoholic psychotic brain syndrome. I'm not even sure what that is. Alcoholic psychotic brain syndrome. What's that?
I mean, that could happen like when you're going through DTs, but I don't know if it would just pop up out of the blue now after 5 months no, I think what happened to him is that he's losing his shiznit because he's in solitary confinement in his total living conditions, not just that he's in secluded from everybody, but I mean, not dirty underwear, living on the floor in that the dog kennel looking type of situation. Who Dis, I'm going to send you a picture of the guy. That way you can tell me if you know who he was, because this guy swore he knew who he was and told me and my daughter that he had to hide evidence because, I mean, this guy was he believed it. So he had Brittany and I going, oh my gosh. And that he hid it because a law enforcement official told him to hide this evidence because if they gave it to law enforcement at that time, it would be destroyed. And I'm going like, what? And this guy believed it, he and his sister. And I asked Randy one time, I said, do you ever see that couple again? And he said he saw him in the grocery store one time and that he, didn't want to really talk about that anymore. So I didn't, bring it up, but I want to see if Who Dis knows who they are. Cause they all, because it is such a small town and I believe they grew up there. They talked to my stepdad because of it too. It's so interesting. This case is like crazy.
I just remember that as being that they thought it was somebody else. Who Dis? She comes out with her eyes.
She's like, Stephanie, what are you talking about? I just always wanted to. I never thought about talking to Who Dis about it, and then I was surprised that somebody else had heard about this couple too, but they weren't there on the trip that I went to in May. I mean, in March of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. It was really weird.
Well,
and the only reason I have the pictures
Yeah.
because Greeno took video that day.
Oh, and they were in the walk.
They were in the video. Yep. And he kind of hid himself from the video. But so Greeno said, you don't have to be in the video. He's like, no, it's fine. My name is so-and-so, because everybody was introducing themselves. And I just happened to take a picture of it before Greeno channel went down, because he was in jail. And I knew that all his stuff was going to go down eventually. So I took a picture of it because I didn't want to lose his name and his picture.
Right.
It's so bizarre.
I'm looking forward to when hopefully when they reveal some of this evidence, all this, that they have with regards to this case, and to really try to connect what we've been thinking and whatever for the last however many years someone's been following the case. I'm really looking forward to seeing what substantial evidence they have against him. Because obviously we've definitely not seen everything. We've barely seen anything whatsoever. We don't even know what's in the autopsy report, or the determination of,
cause of death.
Yeah.
Manner of death.
Nothing. There's just really nothing. So it will be very interesting how it all plays out. But the number one goal for me always is that I just want whoever's involved in any crime that, justice is served. But I know that that's not reality. That,
right.
Look at Karina McClurkin's case, right? You got Flint Farmer in jail. There probably should be another, 3, 4, 5 other people along with it, but they get off because, they're informants or this or that, whatever, and all these little other technicalities and things that they have. And I just fear that the truth won't be told for Abby and Libby, but I want Libby and Abby to have their justice,
absolutely,
with this case. And anyways, yeah,
that's what when I saw this, I got so upset, was because I thought this just ended it. Like, we will not get justice now, but I'm calming down now. Thank you for helping me during the emergency, giving me the emergency live.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I hadn't done a live in a few days anyway, or put out a video or anything. I was just chilling like a villain, to be honest. I just didn't feel like it, and you can't force yourself to do something until you're ready to do it. And sometimes you just need a mental health break, and just stop for a bit, just to, refresh the memory in a sense. And so I was watching Mr. Beast for the last few days, really, and, cleaning up the bedroom and different things,
Who's Mr. Beast?
Well, apparently he's this big YouTuber that's like got 140 million, I think, subscribers on his one channel. But what I like about Mr. Beast, and some people might not like him, anybody that willingly makes money and uses it to help other people. So he does a lot of challenges for people. He's always giving away money. I mean, this guy's like a millionaire, right? He's got so many sponsorships. He has Mr. Beast Burgers. He got Feastables. He's got, these really nice friends that he hangs with as well that are usually on his streams. But anyways, so yeah, he's basically a YouTuber that's became a big YouTube sensation, really, because of things that he did. And I think when I was listening to him, I think like when he was it 12 when he created his YouTube channel? You know how some people just know what they want to do?
Yeah.
But anyways, so, I mean, I love watching videos when people pay it forward. It's kind of like when people give away memberships here to people sometimes in the chat. You're paying it forward and somebody else is getting, a nice gift from somebody else, and you're paying it forward in a sense. I always love stuff like that. And that's why some people don't like Oprah. I always loved Oprah. I watched her from the beginning. I personally watched her from the beginning, and it just always makes my heart so soft when I see when people give back, because they have a lot of money and they just like giving back to other people. It's really always has been my favorite thing. Like I've said this before, in my life, I've always given and done a lot for people because it was never about what you can get back in return. It was always just about, you know, putting a smile on somebody's face. Why? Because I had the ability to change, help somebody. And it could have just been in the smallest way. Maybe it was lending your ear and they just wanted someone. Maybe, you know, it's just, it can be something that costs nothing or something where you're actually, you know, actually helping somebody with money or something like that. Anyways, um, it was always the most rewarding thing. And it still is, to be honest with you. That's why people, like I said, can never take away from my heart and who I am because I get enjoyment out of that. Somebody might have had a really crappy day, like Miss Dog Lover, you know, the other day wasn't having such a great, you know, it's their 14-year anniversary of her brother dying and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I was going to do a live the next day, but I could not do it for Miss Dog Lover because she was like, I hope you're doing a live tonight. So, you know, so like basically to help cheer her up. And I was like, Miss Dog Lover has always given donations and she's always
She's so
supportive of
fun.
this channel. And I was like, how could I not do it? You know, it's kind of like you. I knew that as soon as you said emergency live, I just did it because, you know, even though I was working on a video and doing other stuff, I don't care. Right. If I got the time and I could see that you wanted to do this live because your ears were steaming and stuff like that, I was like, "Ah, you know what? Come on, Steph, you know, um,
I
you know,
appreciate it too.
let's do a live. Yeah. Um, oh, Jeff says, hey, Jeff, how are you? Whenever you need a break from everything, the show Louder Milk is quite hilarious. I'm hooked. Louder Milk. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But anyways, here you guys, let's see there's so anyways, yeah, we're gonna get wrapping this up here.
Okay.
And but I just want to see, okay, hold on. When the big YouTubers pay it forward to accredited charities, they're using that as a tax benefit for themselves. If you are giving to one-on-one people who need the help, then it's a blessing. Well, I think that's a two-way street. I think that people that give to charities obviously get a tax break. So if they're doing it for the purpose of doing it for a tax break, then, you know, obviously that's kind of slimy, even though they're giving money. But if it's just because they're getting a better tax break. But Mr. Beast, he literally does competitions for his subscribers, you know, or he'll like give away like, you know, free, like he's always giving away free money to people, you know, and that's just it. Like the last one of the last videos I just finished watching was there was this challenge, and it took a couple challenges to get to the final challenge. And the final challenge was is that their hand was on $1 million and they couldn't move that hand. And if they lifted it, of course, they were out. Anyways, this one gentleman wanted it or won it. And, you know, when you seen how he was living and that he had won this money, you know, you can't help but almost tear up yourself because
Oh.
it's like changing somebody's life. So he won $900,000 because whoever his coach was, in a sense, got the $100,000, which are his friends, Mr. B's friends. And then when he was in the competition prior to this end competition, Mr. Beast said like, or no, sorry, the guy said, you know, like, look, if I win this competition, I'm gonna give this guy 50,000 because basically there's like I think 4 or 5 people in the competition, and then it was just down to him and this other guy. So he said to the guy, if I win the competition, I'm gonna give you $50,000 because the other guy obviously went out. So yeah, so unselfishly, he gave that guy $50,000. And just like if you're in Walmart and whatever, and you're buying a Feastables, he'll walk around and he'll say, would you rather keep $1,000 or give $10,000 to a stranger? Well, you already know the answer to that because, like me, myself, $1,000, okay, big deal. Like $1,000 is a lot, but it's not really. I would rather see someone have $10,000 than me just win $1,000. You
Right.
know, a
And
lot of
really
people,
bless someone.
And well, yeah, because $1,000, like, I mean, we probably have to depend on the amount because I'm not stupid either. But my thing is this: I would have given the $10,000 to somebody else because that's a bigger chunk of change than just simply me having $1,000, which is, like it's money, but it's not like a lot of money, And so whoever said yes that they'll give to the 10,000, then he gave them $10,000 as well. And that's what I love. I love stuff like that.
Oh,
So to me, that's someone that's being unselfish.
oh
When
yeah.
you put yourself, that you're not just thinking, oh yeah, yeah, me, and that you can go, hey, you know what? Let me make somebody else's day. And then he rewarded them with $10,000 themselves. I love stuff like that. I mean, because that's the epitome who I was ever before the Pay It Forward movie came about. And I always wish that life was more like that. And that's why I became more of a recluse at home, because the world is not like that, sadly. I wish it would be nicer and kinder, but sadly, it's not. And so I just found over the years, when you see kind of like the world, and you get a bit jaded by it because you're like, people aren't so nice. Like, there's a lot of nice people out there, but I think that there's a lot of cloud out there, more than there is sunshine, to be honest with you.
So
And
true.
so,
Yep.
yeah, and that's why, again, and I've said this before, and I'll say it this time on this video, and that's why I don't put up with crap from people. I refuse to. I don't need to. I don't have to, because there's enough crappy people out there in this world as it is, that I just want this space to be filled with kind hearts and people that care. There's nothing wrong with that. I do not need to have trolls. I don't care if they're an extra subscriber. I would rather have you not as a subscriber than as a subscriber, if it's going to be somebody that's going to come in and just be ignorant and troll and stuff like that. Why would I want that? Why would anybody want that? So I just
Exactly.
like to keep it, a nice space to come, that you can feel like your family. And whether or not we go off on topics or whatever, there's other channels that can stay on topic, all whatever. Here we have a variety. We'll talk about stuff, but we'll also, have at least a human element of interacting and talking about things that are stuff like this sometimes. But anyways, so that there was my last thought.
You're like me. I'm you're
you
like
know,
but I call it my ADD because I usually I go off on my tangents over here, to the left, to the right. I do know my left to the right. I might not know my north, south, east, and west if I'm outside, but honey, I know my
Mhm.
left to my right.
I know, right? We know what's going on. Anyways, so yeah, so if you should go watch Mr. Beast
I'm
movie.
going to. I can't wait to.
And
I
then
got to
I'll
check
tell
his
you,
channel out.
okay? And then we will do a live together about the Mr. Beast videos that we watched.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Let's do that. That would be so fun.
you know, yeah, I just, like I said, I can't help it. I just love watching that he's giving money away to people and making people's days. It's just great. It's awesome. But anyways, you guys take care. Again, tomorrow, don't forget, you guys, crime scene to courtroom will be on, of course, at 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's going to be a discussion on Delphi and all the different layers of it, to be honest with you. From Kagan Klein to Abby and Libby to Richard Allen. And Sunny says it is, but Sunny says it as it is, but she is real. And I'm a good judge of character. I'd rather people just be real. That's it.
Amen. Amen to that, sister.
Yeah, like I said, some people think I'm a hard ass and stuff, and they would go into channels and say, like, she's mean and whatever. No, I will block you because you are mean and you are nasty. So you can get out of my channel. That's like, I mean, anyone would not want someone to come into their home or their space or whatever, or work with somebody that's just ignorant, rude, and mean and cruel. So,
Right.
So I'm not mean and nasty. I just want the space to be full of nice people. And if it comes across as ignorant, mean, nasty to some people, then that's not my problem because I'm trying to create the nice space. I don't want
Right.
people to come in here and have to sit there and see people yelling at each other and, getting angry and upset and stuff like that. You just want it to be, which this place is, just come in, have your opinions, have your thoughts, and those are all good, just like anybody else's. Um, who would say you're some people? Some people do because not everyone likes a strong female, and just because I'm always just been transparent and truthfulness, like I said, you know, either you rub people the wrong way or you rub them the right way. The true hearts to me will be the ones that come around here and stay, and like I said, and the trolls, they come and go, but we just try to eliminate that by putting on, that you have to be a subscriber for, a certain amount of time, but those people still make it in here anyway, right? And they know that if they say something that they're going to get the big toe right away. You are mean. I try to be on every day that ends in Y. I try to be.
She
Anyways,
beats
stuff.
me.
Yeah. Anyways, stuff. Yeah, I'm just not I'm not a suck up either. I can't suck up just to get subscribers and viewers. It's just not me. I can't do it. I watch other channels do that, and I'm just like that. I cannot be something I'm not. And if
You
there's
know
one
who
thing I'm
was
not,
not nice?
who?
And I don't want to break your bubble, but I've been to the Oprah show twice,
Oh,
and
right.
she was not real like friendly there to
No, she
her staff.
wasn't.
No.
Mm.
Just an FYI, I was devastated too because I love her show. So I went back for the second time, and she was not like
Yeah.
very friendly to her staff. Just saying.
You know, Miss Pat Brown, the profiler, said that about Phil, Dr. Phil.
Really?
And yeah,
I
she
love
said,
him.
right. And she said, okay, so let's gossip for two more minutes here.
Okay.
So Pat Brown said that, so she was on the Dr. Phil show, and she was to do the first part of the intro as he's, introducing her, and the first part of the segment was hers and whatever. And she said that when the actual thing came out, it was almost like her kind of part got pretty much cut, the start of it. And it's almost like when Dr. Phil was doing his thoughts, it's almost like he was just kind of verbatim saying what she had said, but whatever. So besides that, she said that the way he spoke, especially to this one gentleman, she said in particular, he was like cursing and swearing. And she
What?
said she did, yeah, he said he was so mean to whoever this poor guy was. And she was asked to go on his show other times after that, and she had to pay for her own flight and everything too. But she was asked to go on his show other times, she said, and she's no, no. So she was doing a show. If anyone goes and watches Pat Brown the profiler, she was doing a show on the grifters, and she had Dr. Phil and Fia and that Julie that saying
Oh,
that
I
she
just
was
watched that.
yeah, Madeline McCann. But even though, the DNA has come back and she's not, of course, Madeline, shocker there. But she had said, Dr. Phil is all about money, 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 money. Um, and she just said, and he is rude and ignorant and mean. And she goes, and so when she had that, I'm like, Dr. Phil. I mean, I remember Dr. Phil from Oprah, and the only reason why Dr. Phil like is even this successful is because of Oprah. But it is very heartbreaking. If you do find out that somebody you admire, didn't really, you know,
Oh, I used to when Dr. Phil, my daughter, when she was, in the heart of like her psychotics or psychosis as, a young girl, like she was like probably 10. I wrote into the Dr. Phil show, I think like 4 times. My ex-husband wrote in, he and his wife trying to get her
oh,
help. And I was like that was I watched him all the time and learned from him, from the things that he said of how to raise her, like the things to do, not to do, that type of thing. So I learned a lot from him. But
yeah,
one time I was
yeah,
watching it, and she was older, and he said that when he gets requests for kids with mental health, that he does not want kids that are currently in psychosis, So I was like, man, all that time that we would sit there and sending how we were struggling and because she was in psychosis and da 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 da. And here we should have said she was not in psychosis. We might have gotten
Right.
some help.
Right. So just quickly, so Mark says, what about Dr. Oz? What do you think? You
I
think
like
he's
Dr. Oz. I like the Dr. Oz show.
I think Dr. Oz is more real than Dr. Phil. To be honest with you, I've not like Dr. Phil. I same with you. I paid attention, to a lot of things he was saying because you're kind of getting ideas or thoughts and whatever. But I always thought that there was this arrogance about Dr. Phil. There's always this arrogance I just didn't like. I know that he's kind of blunt and whatever, but if I had to choose, I'd pick Dr. Oz any day over Dr. Phil. Yeah, and nobody burst my bubble there, okay? And I'm gonna still keep Oprah in my little bubble, at least for now, because I watched her from when she started out, and she has done a lot of great things. Maybe I wonder if
Yes.
she just, you know, but yeah, I mean, you experienced it. You said,
Yeah, I got 2
um,
books out of it though. So
yeah,
that
well,
was
you
nice.
only got 2 books out of it, so I'm gonna probably believe you, of course, with what you're saying. It's just, because I just don't want you to burst my bubble. Because
Yeah, and I get totally what you're saying. Like I learned a lot from Oprah. Um like my sister and I used to watch it when I was a stay-at-home mom. Like we would get our kids together like 3 times a week because we were both stay-at-home moms, and we would like watch Oprah at 4 o'clock every day, and we'd like figure out how we were going to change the world into a better place because we watch Oprah. But when Dr.
Nice.
Right. But when Dr. Phil came around, I learned so much from him, like his sayings. I'm trying to think of one off the
Oh,
top of my head. But he
oh, I
taught
can't even
me.
say.
Oh, I
Yeah,
remember what it was.
exactly.
When somebody is yelling and screaming at you, he would say, "Remember, it's just noise. It's just noise." So when my daughter would be in one of her episodes of psychosis, you don't know what that's like to have one screaming and throwing things and all of that, and they're not even in their mind. They don't even know what they're doing. And like what you'd want to be like is, look, little chick, you and I, you can't do that with somebody in psychosis because then you're going to escalate them.
Yeah,
So I remember what Dr. Phil would say. I just think in my head, it's just noise. It's just noise. It's just noise. And until the episode would pass. So it was stuff like that he may be an asshole, but whatever he said on TV, it helped me. So,
right, right,
yeah.
exactly, right. And that's why I do like stuff like that. I like anything where I'm learning something.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
you know, like that teaches me maybe a new, like whether it doesn't matter whether it's a new word that I didn't know or whether it's, like I said for myself, it doesn't matter. I like anything that's learning. I love to learn new things. Doesn't mean that they like only things that I want to stay in my brain, of course. Right. Of course, not being a psychologist or anything like that. Although I think I could, contrary to what people might think, I think I could give good marital advice,
Like this would
but I
be good for you. Remember what okay, go back to when you were thinking about divorce. I wish I would have had Dr. Phil to think this way. One of his sayings is, it's better to be from a broken home than to live in a broken home.
right.
And I wish I would have had that saying when I
Good
was
comment.
teeter-totting back and forth. Um, as as of deciding, should I go, should I not go, should I go, should I not go, because it was hard, because it wasn't like he was cheating on me or hitting me or anything, but it was
Yeah.
a broken home, and I was
I
like, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
You know, I'm listening to my husband right now make cat sounds. And I should just walk out there and tell him it's just noise. It's just noise. I'm pretending I'm not going to hear these cat sounds that he's making. Because all I'm hearing right now is meow, meow. And right, and the door's closed. So he's
It's
obviously
just
messing
noise.
with the cats. Oh, can I tell you something quickly? Um,
Yes.
so I'm an animal lover, of course, and I love animals, and I used to always tear up so bad with cruelty to animals. So yesterday, and you guys prepare yourself for this story, okay? Um, so yesterday, this bee flies in the window, but I don't see it. All I know is I'm snuggling with my husband facing the opposite way that I normally do, right? And all of a sudden my husband like pops up and he's like races to the window to shut it. But then he sees the bee. So he instantly gets dressed and says, "Fend for yourself." That's what he said as he left the room. So I'm not actually scared of bees. So I'm looking at this bee and it's like, bzzz, and I'm like, God, you're dumb. You keep trying to crawl up the window and you keep falling back down. And he kept doing this. And then at some point he went into the kind of like the ledge of the window. And it's almost like he was tired of trying to, get up. Maybe that's
He needed a break. He's like, I need a cigarette after this.
right. So this so the window was open most of the night, whatever. And my husband has this theory that the bee just somehow miraculously went out the window. Could have, but I know it didn't. So I'm at my computer this morning and I look underneath and I see Bambi Girl, which is, we call her Psycho, Bitch, is underneath my computer desk, and she's staring at the window. And I know exactly why she's staring at the window. So I bend down to look underneath the desk, and sure as crap, there's the bee just sitting on a ledge. Now, this bee, picture if you were to be on like a pommel horse and you were just to flap your arms down, and just hang there as if it's your last breath coming out of you. So that's what this bee looked like. And I see Bambi going, psh, 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 psh. And next thing you know, the bee flies off or comes off of the window ledge and lands on the floor. And it happened to land right where the computer cords are, behind like near the bar or whatever, like the not the electrical bar, but still close enough. And anyway, so Bambi's sitting there just staring at it like a freaking hawk. And I'm just like, Bambi, just leave the bee alone. And the bee's trying to like scoot along the side of that little bar thing. And I'm thinking, oh, it looks like it's on its last legs, whatever. So Bambi's sitting there watching to it. So I grab a cup and I grab this flimsy piece of paper. So I was like, hell no. Because all I'm thinking about is that this bee could come through that piece of paper and sting my hand. So I'm like, oh no. So I see this Christmas card. And actually, who's the Christmas card from? Oh, I know who it's from. It's from Callie. And I see this Christmas card from Callie. And I'm like, I'm sliding you underneath that cup. So, anyways, so I get the bee in the cup. And of course, Bambi's kind of pissed off at me, but whatever. And so I'm sitting here and I'm taking this bee in this cup and I'm taking it out to the living room where the actual balcony is. And of course, the blinds are down, the door is closed. And there's this netting that I hadn't seen before because that's considered Ryan's room. And so I'm sitting there, I got this bee in this cup, and I put it on the pillow, and I keep thinking it's going to try to escape on me. So I'm sitting here with one hand trying to hold the cup down and rip it up. But anyway, so I get it outside. I know this is a long story, and it's okay. Suffer, okay? But anyway,
I'm listening. This is good.
Okay. So no, actually, I do have another one if you guys want to listen quickly. But anyways, so then I quickly whip the bee out, in the cup, and it lands right in front of me, basically. And it's like, whoa, like the Matrix there. And I'm thinking, oh, this poor thing, it's probably almost dead and whatever. Honestly, that thing came to life within a minute, and all of a sudden it was just like, and off it went. And this smile that came over my face, okay, I was just like, fresh air. There you go. You're free. I saved you. You could have been dead. The cat could have killed you, but no, I saved you from our vicious freaking
I'm your
cat.
savior.
Yeah. Now, so no applause. Okay. I mean, it's just what I kind of do. I do things like that. I don't like really killing animals. It's like, here you go. I'm not afraid of you, even though you got some like 32-year-old man sitting there, fend for yourself, literally ditched me in the room. Fend for yourself, but anyways, quickly, another one. One day I came home. This is not here. This is in like Coquitlam with my ex-husband. And I see this spider wrapping up this fly in its little webby stuff and on the bicycle wheel, right? And I'm like, oh, hell no. You are not going to kill that fly. So I literally take the fly from the little cocoon that it's in, take it to the backyard, put it on the table, and I sat there like a freaking surgeon, okay? And I take 2 needles and I'm ever so delicately, right? Just taking that little cocoon. Took me about 45 minutes, you guys.
Oh
But I
my God.
finally got the webbing off. I'm telling you, flies have the most delicate little wings, right? Hey, who's trying to message? Oh, no, it's not a message. It's just a notification. Anyways, and so I'm so proud that I spent 45 minutes to save a fly. And then the ex-husband, well, husband at the time comes home and he's like, so I told him of my story about the fly that I just saved. And he goes, the fly's going to die anyway within an hour. He's going, the spider already bit it. So it's just a matter of time. I never felt so deflated. Seriously.
Oh,
Never felt
did it
so
die?
deflated. Well, I don't know. It flew off, but it's just that he put that thought in my head that fly that I just saved and spent 45 minutes saving from that freaking spider web, that was going to die. And I was like, oh, I just spent 45 minutes for no reason whatsoever. But you know what? I do stuff like that. Even when a fly, I remember when I was working at Chi-Chi's, landed in the cheese. Took that little fly, took him back outside and said, there you go, buddy. You're
Did you
safe.
say you worked at Chi-Chi's?
Yeah, Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant. Back when
Let's back up, Barbie. Do you know that was one of my daughter's first words? We went there
what,
so much when I was
oh, really?
married. Oh my God. Chi-Chi's was the bomb. And they shut them all down here in United States.
Yeah, I worked at it. I was like 16 years old,
Oh
I
my
think. So I was
God.
about a couple years, but yeah, making guacamole and freaking
Oh, their dipped
chiquitas
cheese and
you know.
oh my gosh. My daughter,
Yeah.
that was one of her first words. Every time we drive by, she'd go, Chi-Chi's. And she barely could talk, but girl, she knew that's Chi-Chi's sign. She
Well,
loved it.
I haven't gone there yet with my husband and my brother-in-law, but I'm gonna have to go to the Chuck and Cheesy's. We have one just down the road. And every time we drive by it, I'm like a little kid. All I want to do is buy up the freaking tokens so I can play those games and get my freaking free tickets to buy those cheap little gifts that cost nothing, you know. But every time I go by it, because I remember when Bullwinkles came to Alberta, and Bullwinkles, and it was just like, it was just like you just had, I'm like a big kid. It's like going to Disneyland, You just doesn't matter how old you get, still appreciate those things. Okay. That's my story, you guys, and I'm sorry if I bored you. Actually, I don't really care if I bored you or not because you probably would have left this live by now, to be honest with you. Anyways, so that
Hey,
was
it's like
my
one of our 5-minute. We're only gonna have a 5-minute conversation, and
yeah.
that's
I
what we
just
do.
I just don't like killing animals, even if it's a fly. I just really don't. I mean, okay, granted, I'll kill a mosquito. I don't like to, but those little suckers, they love. I don't know if you guys know this, but mosquitoes love the British blood. Okay, because I could be walking alongside of my husband, and those mosquitoes don't even attack me. They literally go for my husband. Like my husband will get eaten alive. So I'm not sure what it is. Um, oh, teach us all how to properly make fried rice ice cream at home. Oh, that's all that is, though. All that it was ice cream wrapped in cornflakes.
Yes, but Chi-Chi's, something about Chi-Chi's, like it was so
No,
good.
it's just ice cream rolled in cornflakes. That's all we did. That's
Well,
all it
it
was.
was the bomb. Do you guys have Chi-Chi's now in Canada?
No,
They got rid of.
I don't believe so. Mhm.
Oh, we don't have
Yeah.
any here, and God, I miss it. It
Uh-huh.
was so good.
But
Yeah, but
yeah,
I don't know. Now I might need some Mexican food. I've been on
right.
that shot, so I started that semaglutide shot, so I don't have cravings. But today my shot is due, so that's why I'm actually craving food.
Yeah. Well, just go, chaotic. Just to answer her, back quickly, Stefa. Chaotic, just go out and buy yourself no name cornflakes and roll your ice cream, crush it, roll it in. And that was exactly what the Chi-Chi's fried ice cream was.
And it's so hard. It's like the hard balls. Like that sounds terrible,
I know.
but that made it even better because it was like so hard. I don't know if my
you know,
freezer gets that cold.
Oh, I know, like it was hard, absolutely. Um, I remember, like the first managers that I worked with are total DICKSs. Okay, yeah, one of them was so arrogant, it probably puts Greeno to shame, to be honest with you. But anyways, it was like so I would just take, like the cheese for the tequilas or tequilas, the taquitos or whatever, and I would just do like this, right? Grab cheese, grab cheese, put the ball down, grab cheese, put the ball down. And so we're supposed to use the scale because they're supposed to be certain ones, like the cheese ones were like 1 ounce and 1/4. Okay. And so then sometimes you get caught, and then Perry would come along and be like, how come you're not using a scale? And I'd, because I have this to perfection. And then he'd sit there, pull out the scale and put it on the scale. And literally he'd be like, oh, oh, well, let me catch on. Oh, because you were so used to always doing it that you just knew how much should be in your hand, to do it. Because it was so rare I used to scale, to be honest with you. Because, well, at first you do, but once you make them often enough, after a while, it's just like, I don't need that. Anyways, but that's how I got my 26 stitches in my thumb. Um,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
because I was working at Chi Chi's and I was slicing tomatoes, and I was slicing tomatoes, and all of a sudden my finger just went right through it. So, so I'm sitting there hanging my thumb over the top, which is right beside the slicer, really, and I'm looking at it, going, "Oh crap, that's a good one." And Perry, the same manager, is running around, calm down. There's no need to whatever. And I'm like, dude, you're the one that's actually running around. Now, don't get me wrong. When I got stitches for this thing, and I can handle pain, okay, but when I got stitches, I think everyone within a block radius heard me yell, because when the doctor said it's not going to be very much pain when he sticks a needle in it to numb it up, ha, liar, absolutely. And so I gave him shit, and I said, "You said it wasn't going to hurt." And he goes, "Well, what did you want me to say? It's going to hurt. Then you would have just." And I was like, "No, then I could have at least prepped for it." So when he stuck that needle in my raw skin of my thumb there, because that thing was
Oh,
literally almost off, yeah. And then like block radius at least probably heard me yell. I know everyone definitely in that building heard me yell. It was only one floor, but I screamed so loud. It freaking was painful. And then the next 3 days are like thump, thump, thump. You know how you're when you hurt yourself, thump, 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 thump. You know, that was the first time I think I had a few days off. I had like 3 days off or something like that. Anyways, so there was no frying involved. Oh, yes. Well, I mean, you dunked it in the oil. So like yeah, so you would put it down into the oil for like 30 seconds. You would just quickly fry it for. So my bad. So
and
roll it
so
in corn.
and the ice cream didn't melt in the fryer?
No, because it's so freaking hard.
Ah,
But yeah, you would literally just dunk it for like 30 seconds in the oil, and then there you go. There's your ice cream. Have a good day.
that sounds, oh man, now I want some fried ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, right. I know. I actually totally forgot all about that, to be honest with you. But if I'm going to leave you guys with one thought of a dessert, if you've never had it, it's peaches and ice cream, fried peaches. And my dad would typically throw in some, Grand Marnier, right? Light it on fire just for effect. Throw in a little bit of Grand Marnier, but if you don't have to. Anyways, fried peaches and ice cream are the most superior taste on the palate. That if you like peaches, okay, just like I said, fry them in the juice, throw in some Grand Marnier if you have some. If not, who cares? But my stepdad, who was a cook at the time when my mom met him, um, made that, and to this day, that is my favorite dessert. There's something about peaches and ice cream that just, it's like angelic food to my lips.
I've
All
never
right.
had it.
It is an ice cream social now. I mean, this live just went left and right and up and down. Now it's going to take us off of here because we're at the 2 hour and 10 minute mark. And I said we're going to be an hour. An
Yeah.
hour? Yeah. This is where people probably expect me to put like time lapse. I never put time lapse in video. For me, it's YOLO. Figure it out yourselves, okay? You guys can figure out when we're talking about Delphi and when we're talking about ice cream. Yeah, I'm cream. I'm cream party. Well, I can just see what my husband's gonna say if he was seeing this conversation. He'll be like, "You don't need that. I'll put some cream on your face." You
Oh
know.
God.
Oh yeah, you guys needed to hear that. I'm a big fan of peach yogurt. Oh, yeah, I actually quite like yogurt. Um, the first time I ever had yogurt, Jeff, I didn't know you had to stir it. So when you got to the bottom, you were like, "Oh, this stuff's kind of gross." And then all of a sudden, you get to the bottom, and then there was the freaking fruit stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I guess that was the first time I ever had yogurt, though." Now I'm experienced with
You're
it.
experienced yogurt
Produce.
enthusiast.
Anyway, Steffa, all right, Missy.
All right,
Thank
honey.
you for
Thank you for the
thank
live. It was
you.
great.
And don't forget, if you haven't watched Mr. Beast and you don't know who he is, go watch Mr. Beast videos because I will do a live with Steffa soon when she's got some Mr. Beast videos underneath her belt. And again, just the act of giving. I love it, love it, love it. All right, Sonny, I'm going to have to email you separately. Wait, why? Why separately on there? But anyway.
Because she doesn't like me now. Miss Dogliver doesn't like me now. She's like, I want it separate, not with Steffa. Just keep it away from that Steffa girl.
Anyways, you guys take care. Have a good rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow on tomorrow's live again at 4 Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Okay, guys, with Crime Scene to Courtroom. I'm not sure if Alexa's going to make it or not. And CD, happy birthday again to CD.
Yes.
Yeah, 44 years old for CD. I don't know why he had to up his number. I had perfectly saved him at 30. He knows it. Anyways, take care. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
And
Love
I'll see you
y'all.
tomorrow. Bye, guys.